Hello friends, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox, and I'm so happy that you're here as I show you 3 different ways to use the magical mirror embossing folder and stencils from Altenew. This is from their September release, and I'm going to show you 3 different embossed versions along with this gorgeous die cut version of the enchanted mirror die. So there is that enchanted mirror die. Look at all the details. Here is the magic mirror embossing folder, and here are the coordinating dies. So this set was really fun to use, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways. So the first thing I'm doing is I cut out that enchanted mirror die. Look at how delicate that is. It's just so fine. I'm really having a good time coloring this. So I'm using my Ultimate Matte from my Altenew stamp wheel, and I am actually pouncing gold pigment ink on there. This is their Ultimate Gold Pigment ink. And again, I didn't want to blend it. I wanted to make sure that I got good coverage. So you can see here, I'm kind of pouncing it on. So we'll go ahead and remove that first stencil. Again, this mat is great for holding this thing in place. And again, it's so delicate and has so many little tiny nooks and crannies. So the next thing I'm doing is picking out the next stencil that I want to use. And this one I'm using a bunch of different orange colors. So I've got Caramel Toffee, Autumn Blaze, Fire Brick, and Honey Drizzle on this one. So again, we're going to kind of pick and choose which leaves I want to color, which color, and we'll go ahead and ink blend over them. And you can see I'm using my Altenew mini blending tools. I love these things. They're just perfect size for a lot of Altenew stencils, and they just, you know, really add the color. And I have one per family member is how or family color. And so that's kind of how I keep them. I've got my oranges and my yellows and my greens. So again, we're just kind of continuing to ink blend here. So you should see a red arrow at the lower right-hand section of your screen. I would love it if you would become one of my subscriber friends. I do a lot with Altenew. I love their floral stamps and dies, and you know, many of their other products. So like I say, if you choose to follow me, you'll see lots from Altenew, as I tend to use a lot of their products. So there's the completed colored die. So now I'm moving on, and I'm actually inking up one of the embossed. I ran 3 different A2 panels through the embossing folder, and I'm just now using different colors. So this one is green. So I've got Evergreen, Fresh Leaf, Grassfield, Olive, and Moss are some of the colors that I'm using for my greens. And so again, just kind of ink blending, matching them up. And this one in particular, I didn't use the olive or the moss. That's on one a little bit later that I'll show you. So again, just using some of the brighter greens here. I just thought this was just fun. And again, I started with the gold pigment on all of these. Actually, I used a lot of the gold pigment. So again, kind of finishing that one up with the bright greens. So I'll show you how I inked all of the embossed images, and then I'll show you how I put the cards together and what products I used. So again, here I'm putting in the darker green leaves. Just too much fun, too much fun. And again, that sticky mat really was helpful in holding these stencils down. So again, there's kind of all the stencils I have. That green one, actually, I did use the olive and the moss on. So these are kind of my backgrounds. I also created that oval there out of a blue cardstock. And what I did was I colored the raised section on the embossing folder using that gold pigment ink, and then ran it through the embossing folder so that all of the gold leaves are debossed on the blue cardstock. So I'm using gold cardstock here on the background because, again, I want to kind of pick up that gold color. So this is a matte gold cardstock that I have. that I use quite often. And then I've cut out a fancy hello, and I have stacked another one below it. So we'll just kind of put that there in the middle. And then I ended up cutting out some of these leaves from the Altenew Create a Wreath die set. Again, it's, you know, it's just simply lots of floral images, or not floral, but leafy images that you can create a wreath with. So again, I'm just using these very delicate gold leaf images and just adding those down there at the bottom of this particular card base. So that one is done. Now we'll move on to the green. So again, I'm using my Altenew tape runner, and I'm going ahead and adding the base on there. And you can see that I very sneakily cut the sentiment out of the center of that piece of cardstock. Number one, it matches. And number two, you'll never know that that die cut is there in the center because I'm going to put that green piece on the top. So obviously I've trimmed the green piece down to be 4.0 by 5.25 inches. So then we'll go ahead and center it on there. And the hello is die cut with gold from the Hello and Hug set, which is one of my favorites. So here's this card here. Again, I chose to use a rust background base panel. So we'll go ahead and put that on there. And then I trimmed that one side. Sometimes, you know, I die cut or I trim my own card bases, and so sometimes I'm off a little bit, so I can always go back and trim. So I am now using Altenew foam tape, and you can see that I have pulled both the front and the backing off of that piece because I needed to kind of curl it around some of the leaves so that I could hide that foam tape. So again, that's just one trick, is to, you know, pull both the front and the backing off of your foam tape, and that way you can actually curl it around. So again, I'm just kind of trimming pieces of the foam tape. And once I'm happy with the amount that I have on there, I'll go ahead and pull off all the backing that's left from the straight pieces and the little pieces. And then we'll go ahead and attach that to the front of the card. It kind of pops it up a little bit, which I think was kind of cool. So again, here I'm just kind of pulling off some of the backing. And I did also stack this die as well. I tend to stack any kind of dies that I'm going to put on the fronts of my cards. So again, I'll go ahead and center that there. And then I use that simple greeting die set and cut out the word hugs. So we'll go ahead and put that in the center, and it's stacked a couple of times as well. So again, here are all of my cards. So here is that Hugs Rust Color card. Here is the green embossed. Here is the gold embossed on blue, and here is the green, other green one. So again, it's Terry with Terry's Mailbox. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Blogger. Come subscribe.